When the drums fall silent, the ancestors weep. When laughter dies in a home, the spirits turn their backs on that family. In the heart of Mbeki village stood a large family compound made of red clay walls and iron roofs. This was the home of Mandla, the most feared man in the village. His compound was big enough for 20 people, but it felt like a tomb. Every morning, the family ate their porridge in complete silence. No one dared to smile. No one spoke unless Mandla asked them a question. Even the sound of spoons touching bowls seemed too loud. Mandla believed that laughter made people weak. He said joy was for fools who had no respect for tradition. His word was law in this compound, and everyone feared him. Nyarai, Mandla's wife, moved through the compound like a ghost. She had not laughed in 10 years. Her eyes were always sad, and she spoke in whispers. She cooked the best meals in the village, but no one could praise her cooking out loud. Obafo, their first son, was 25 years old. He obeyed his father's rules completely, but inside his heart was breaking. He had forgotten how to smile. When he walked through the village, people looked away because his face was so cold and empty. The other villagers feared their compound. Children would run past their gate without making any noise. Even the birds seemed to avoid flying over their roof. Amari was 18 and full of fire. She was the only one who still had light in her eyes. During the day, she obeyed her father's rules. But at night, she would sneak out to meet the village children by the river. There, away from her father's ears, she would teach them old songs her grandmother had sung. She would tell them funny stories that made them laugh until their stomachs hurt. These secret meetings kept her soul alive. But Amari knew she was playing with fire. If her father ever found out, the punishment would be terrible. Still, she could not stop. The songs and laughter were like air to her, she needed them to live. Chikondi was only 7 years old. He was too young to understand why laughter was forbidden. Sometimes he would forget the rule and giggle when he saw a butterfly or when his mother made a funny face while cooking. Each time he laughed, the whole compound would freeze. Mandla's eyes would turn dark with anger. Nyarai would quickly pick up Chikondi and take him away before his father could punish him. "Why can't I laugh, Mama?" Chikondi would ask his mother in secret. Nyarai would hold him tight and whisper, "Because Papa says so. You must be a good boy." But Chikondi's laughter was like water trying to break through a dam. It was getting harder and harder to keep it inside. Sefu was Mandla's older brother. He was a wise man who knew the old ways and could speak to his ancestors. He came to visit the compound one evening and was shocked by what he saw. "Brother," Sefu said to Mandla, "what have you done to your family? This house feels like death itself lives here." Mandla's face grew hard. "I have made them strong. Laughter is for weak people who have no purpose in life." Sefu shook his head sadly. "You are wrong, brother. Joy is the heart of every family. When you kill laughter, you kill the spirit of your home. The ancestors are not happy with you. Something bad will come if you don't change." But Mandla would not listen. He told Sefu to leave and never speak such foolish words again. 3 villagers lived near Mandla's compound. Ayanda was a mother of 4 children. Tendai was an old fisherman. Lethabo was a young man who sold vegetables at the market. They all knew about the strange rule in Mandla's home. They felt sorry for his family, but they were too afraid to say anything. Mandla was a powerful man, and no one wanted to make him angry. "It's not natural," Ayanda would whisper to her husband. "Children should laugh and play. That house gives me bad dreams." Tendai would shake his head when he walked past their gate. "The spirits don't like this," he would mutter. "Mark my words, something bad will happen." But still, they said nothing. They just watched and waited. As the weeks passed, the silence in the compound grew heavier. Nyarai stopped humming while she worked. Obafo stopped talking to his friends in the village. Even the chickens seemed to make less noise. But Amari's secret meetings continued. She was teaching more children now, and they were getting braver. Sometimes their laughter could be heard from far away. Some villagers began to remember how good it felt to smile. Chikondi was also getting harder to control. The laughter inside him was growing stronger every day. Nyarai could see it in his eyes, he was like a pot of water about to boil over. Mandla felt that his control was slipping, and this made him even more angry and strict. One night, Mandla heard sounds coming from the direction of the river. It sounded like children singing and laughing. His face grew dark with rage. He followed the sounds and hid behind the trees. There he saw Amari with a group of village children. They were singing an old song about a happy family. The children were clapping and dancing around her. Mandla's hands shook with anger. His own daughter was breaking his most important rule. He wanted to rush out and punish all of them, but something stopped him. He watched for a few more minutes, then went home. That night, he could not sleep. He kept thinking about Amari's face. When she was laughing and singing, she looked just like her grandmother had looked many years ago. This memory confused him and made him even more angry. The next morning, Mandla watched Amari carefully. She acted normal, but he could see the light in her eyes. This light felt like a challenge to his authority. At breakfast, Chikondi accidentally dropped his spoon. The sound made him giggle, just a small, quiet giggle. But Mandla heard it. "What did you do?" Mandla's voice was like thunder. The whole family froze. Chikondi's eyes filled with tears. I dropped my spoon, Papa. And you laughed." Mandla's voice got quieter, which was even more scary than when he shouted. Nyarai quickly stood up. "He's just a child, husband. He didn't mean to." "Sit down," Mandla ordered. His wife sat down immediately, her whole body shaking. Mandla stood up slowly. Everyone in the compound could feel his anger filling the air like smoke. "Chikondi," he said to his youngest son. "You will stand in the sun for the whole day. You will not eat or drink anything. Maybe this will teach you to control yourself." Nyarai gasped. "Please, husband. He's only 7. The sun is too hot today." "I said sit down." Mandla shouted. "This boy will learn, or he will keep suffering." Amari jumped up from her seat. "Papa, no. You can't punish a child for being happy." Mandla turned to look at his daughter. His eyes were full of rage. "So you think you can tell me what to do in my own house?" The whole compound went silent. Even the wind seemed to stop blowing. "Yes," Amari said, her voice shaking but strong. "I think a father should love his children, not hurt them for being children." Mandla moved toward her like a storm cloud. "You dare to speak to me like this? You, who sneaks out at night to sing with village children like a wild girl?" Amari's heart stopped. He knew about her secret meetings. But she lifted her head high. "Yes, I sing with them. I teach them to laugh. Because laughter is not weakness, Papa. It's what makes us human." "You have brought shame on this family," Mandla said. "You will stay in your room for 1 month. No food except bread and water." Obafo finally spoke. "Papa, please. This has gone too far." Mandla turned on his first son. "You too. My own children have turned against me." Just as Mandla raised his hand to strike Amari, the sky suddenly turned dark. Thunder crashed overhead like the voice of angry ancestors. Lightning split the sky, and rain began to fall in heavy drops. But this was no ordinary storm. The rain was warm, and it smelled like flowers. The thunder sounded like drums beating in the distance. And in the wind, everyone could hear something that sounded like voices, old voices, singing ancient songs. Sephu came running into the compound, his eyes wide with fear and wonder. "Brother! The ancestors are speaking. Can you not hear them?" Mandla looked up at the sky, and for the first time in years, he felt afraid. The storm was directly over his compound. Lightning struck the ground near his feet, but it did not hurt him. Instead, it left the mark of a broken drum in the earth. As the storm continued, Mandla began to see things in the lightning. He saw his grandmother, who had raised him with love and laughter. He saw his father as a young man, singing work songs in the fields. He saw himself as a child, running and playing with his friends. Then he saw what his compound looked like to the ancestors, a place of death and sadness, where the spirits of joy had been murdered. He saw his wife's broken heart. He saw his son's empty eyes. He saw his daughter's courage, and his youngest child's innocent need to laugh. The voices in the wind grew louder. They were singing a song his grandmother had taught him long ago: "Joy is the heart of the family. Laughter is the voice of love. When you silence joy, you break the chain that connects us to our ancestors." Mandla fell to his knees in the mud, crying like a child. When the storm ended, Mandla was still on his knees. His family stood around him, not knowing what to do. The 3 villagers had come running when they heard the thunder, and they watched from the gate. Slowly, Mandla looked up at his family. His eyes were different now, softer, full of pain and understanding. "I have been a fool," he whispered. "I thought I was making you strong, but I was killing you instead." He looked at Chikondi, who was still crying from fear. Mandla crawled over to his youngest son and pulled him into his arms. "Laugh, my son," he whispered. "Please laugh for Papa." Chikondi looked at his mother, then at his father. Slowly, a small giggle escaped from his lips. Then another. Soon he was laughing with relief and joy. Mandla's tears mixed with his son's laughter. He looked at Amari, his brave daughter who had never stopped fighting for joy. "Teach me the songs," he said to her. "Teach me the songs you sing by the river." Amari's eyes filled with tears. She began to sing, softly at first, then stronger. Her voice was like medicine for the wounded compound. Nyarai began to hum along. Then Obafo joined in. Even Sefu and the 3 villagers began to clap along with the rhythm. As they sang together, it was as if the compound was waking up after a long sleep. The colors seemed brighter. The air felt lighter. The birds returned to sing in their trees. But the healing was not complete. There were still scars that would take time to heal. Trust that would take time to rebuild. And Mandla knew he had much work to do to earn his family's forgiveness. From that day forward, laughter returned to Mandla's compound. But it was different from before, deeper, more precious because they knew what it felt like to lose it. Mandla learned to smile again, though it took many months. He would sit with Chikondi in the evenings, listening to his son's stories and trying to remember how to laugh. He asked Amari to teach the whole family the songs she had kept alive during the dark years. The compound became a place where other families came to visit. Children played in the courtyard. The sound of laughter and music could be heard from morning until night. But Mandla never forgot the lesson he had learned. He would tell anyone who would listen, joy is not weakness. It is the strength that holds families together. When we silence laughter, we break our connection to each other and to our ancestors. A family without laughter is like a river without water. It may look the same on the outside, but inside, everything is dying. Joy is not a luxury or a sign of weakness. It is the heartbeat of love, the voice of our humanity, and the gift that connects us to each other and to those who came before us. When we try to control others by taking away their joy, we destroy the very thing we claim to protect. True strength comes not from fear, but from love. And love always makes room for laughter. What did this story teach you about the importance of joy in your own family? Have you ever felt like laughter was forbidden in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this folktale moved you, Please like this video and subscribe for more African wisdom stories that can change how we see the world. Remember, your laughter matters. Your joy is not weakness. It is your gift to the world.